Hello, and welcome to the Gaia update for the full moon in Cancer that's happening on Tuesday, December 29th, 2020. I'm Adrienne Elise. Well, how are you doing? We are just coming off of this incredibly potent and powerful astrology, really the whole year of 2020, off the charts. But this recent week with this greater conjunction and the solstice and Mars square Pluto, epic and powerful times we're living in. Now, these events are going to continue to reverberate throughout the upcoming days, weeks, and months. So when you're in the middle of a big shift and a big energy, it's really hard to tell what that's about. So we're going to be gradually getting more insight and effect of this kind of that stone that was thrown into the pond, and now the ripple effect. And what in the heck does this mean for us? So let's talk it through. This full moon has some powerful messages. It's happening at 8 degrees, 53 minutes, so almost 9 degrees, kind of coming to the end of the 8. 8 is about transformation, 9 is about a completion. So powerful. This happens almost at the very end of 2020 on the 29th, 2 days before the end of the year. And I think a lot of people, probably everybody, is feeling like it's really okay to put a close to this 2020 year, right? And see if there's something better on the horizon around the corner. Indeed, this astrology is intense as it is, because right now we're really still feeling that Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. They're going to be 1 degree apart through the new year until January 2nd. So this is an official, very, very close conjunction still happening. And we've got Mars square Pluto still very strong as well. We'll be feeling that when they come back together in another exact, they came to exact conjunction from the 21st to the 23rd, and then come back together on the 26th. At 24 degrees. So pretty interesting that they came together at 23 degrees and then 24 degrees. And so Mars square Pluto is about a power struggle. Mars and Pluto, both rulers of Scorpio, both about our power and our permission for our power, our fear of our power. How much really an underlying true story of this whole Earth evolution have we been kept from our power because we've been programmed with fear around our power? And this is all coming up. Mars direct in its third and final square with Pluto is fearless. Mars says, I am a warrior. I am, and I will claim my power, and I will stand up. And so it's powerful because, and we'll be feeling that Mars square Pluto, third and final, Mars square Pluto, with Mars direct until the end of the year. And it's like call to action. For some, it's action, right? We're being asked, but the action that we're being asked to take for the SuperNova Soul, the warrior stance, is about putting on that armor of God, that light body, and choosing very deliberately, using the power of your will force, which is what Mars is about, to claim your life force, your energy. So how we do this is in our day-to-day, moment-to-moment, is choosing where we put our attention and our energy. What's happening is humanity's waking up to the power that we, the people, have. We've been treated as sheep and numbers and something to be bought, traded, and sold. We're seen as just useless feeders on this planet. And the most precious commodity that we have is our attention, and it's not easy in this world of massive distractions, and so all of this is on the table. So Mars square Pluto, we've been feeling that one for quite a while. The influence of that started right at that total solar eclipse. Now what's happening now is that the Sun and Mercury are together. The Sun and Mercury are both coming into a square with Chiron. Mercury today on the 24th of December, Sun square Chiron the day after Christmas. So the Mercury square the day before, Sun square Chiron the day after. So we've got Pluto in Capricorn square Mars in Aries. We've got the Sun and Mercury in Capricorn square Chiron. And it's just kind of the crux energy of what 2020's all been about. Like, humanity, we cannot still keep going as sheep. We're done for. If we don't stand up, take back our rights, take back our reality, take back our life force, take back our planet right now, we're kind of at the end of the road. And the astrology is supporting us in this. And this is the thing. It's like, it's been so heavy and dark and scary. And, just this 2020 has just been so intense. But the astrology, as it unfolds in these next couple of months, it's all saying, hey, this isn't supporting tyranny. This is supporting true freedom, right? So maybe we thought that freedom had to do with our daily life and our rights, and it does, right? But ultimately, we're not free unless our mind is free. And that's exactly the energy of the Sun conjunct Mercury in Capricorn. Sun and Mercury's brilliant mind, like insights coming into the mind. And in Capricorn square Chiron and Aries, Chiron is the wounds, deepest wounds, in Aries about where you haven't been able to be who you are. And so what this is really about is about mind control. How humanity has been kept in the dark from who they really are. Kept powerless through fear. Every time that negative creating has been able to happen on this planet with wars and tragedies, it starts with fear. And so maybe true freedom and our spiritual autonomy is recognizing that, maybe it's that life force standing up in our power, standing up in our spiritual truth and being like, I know I'm so much more than this. So you can't scare me anymore. Like, we're done playing. There's way more of us than there are of you. And so I just can't even believe how much the astrology is speaking to, so specifically to these times. So the Sun and Mercury come together. These are our daily planets. The Sun and Mercury, they're the closest as far as their cycles, in the time, they stay very close. And, in how they move, of course, the Mercury retrograde separates them, but they move, about a degree a day. And so they're coming into council. And it's interesting because we've got Jupiter and Pluto. That's a big council, right? Like, that's the schedule of time, God's plan, spiritual impulses, cultural shifts, like the bigger backdrop. Then we've got Sun, Mercury, our closest influences. And they're like, wait a minute. In Capricorn, we just got this huge activation all of 2020. What is it about? Just to squeeze us into this uncomfortable place? No, it's about saying, humanity, stand up, take your power back. And so the Sun and Mercury together in this council, activating the mind into insights and enlightenment, and in square to Chiron. And Chiron, and the Aries energy is like, it's all about freedom and being able to have your sovereign mind, to have your I am, to have your life force, to yourself, to what you want to use it for, not the machine. We've been feeding the machine for a very long time. And now it's coming more obvious. And so this square is saying we can't go forward until we break the mind control and get out of being sheeple. I think we'll look back at this time and be like, if we make it through, we know we are, right? We know we're winning on some form or another. Like, SuperNova Souls have already crossed this threshold. But humanity in general, we'll be looking back at this time being like, oh, remember when we all put masks on because they told us to? With zero science to back it up. with fear over an illness that has a 99.8% recovery rate. There's very little logic, and yet this has gone on, the control of humanity has gone on behind the scenes for thousands of years, right? So it's nothing new. It's just being shown to us right now. And this is what this astrology is about. And we feel both of these influences of the sun and Mercury together, square Chiron, leading exactly up to this full moon. And then the full moon, the sun and Mercury are opposite. Of course, the sun is always opposite the moon. That's what makes a full moon. But then Mercury's not too far off. So this full moon in Cancer, 9 degrees of completion around nurturing the mother. It's like, hey, you guys, remember, this is what it's all about. We bought into a machine thinking that's our mother, and we have to beg and do it right and feed the monster and pay our bills, in order to survive. And it's like they just tricked us all. And Mother Earth provides everything we need if we had the technology that's available to us that's been suppressed. We can easily take care of everybody on the planet in an abundant way. And this is kind of where we're heading in the Aquarian age. Like, we can't go forward and move and evolutionarily evolve without taking care of people, because it's getting too painful. As we grow, our natural evolution is to become more and more psychically sensitive, and this because you are leading the way and you're super sensitive. So there's definitely, this astrology is so intense, and the way we're either, going through a portal, putting timelines together, separating them out. We don't know, maybe both, but it's been a little bit challenging not to feel the collective energies. So just know that if you're finding yourself down in that lower matrix, it might be that energy coming up again. And the squares, these intense squares of the sun and Mercury square Chiron, Mars, Pluto square Mars, it's bringing tension. It's like, the dam's got to break. We can't keep going that way. And so in your life, everything that's going to push you back into that lower matrix right now is a clue to where you have not yet taken your power back. It's going to show you exactly the contracts, exactly the loyalties, and for SuperNova Souls, it's this whole thing of like, we're at the end of the road. We can't go that way. It's almost like we've been in this timeline war, psychological war. And there's so many light workers and masters and incredibly powerful beings in bodies on the planet right now. And that can't allow the negative creating in the lower timeline. It just can't happen. So we're in this, it's like a wrestling match. But it's like, so there's that whole thing coming up again with these intense squares of being like, well, I could stay in the lower matrix and be loyal to those that don't want to open their mind and their hearts and their eyes to what's really happening. But I will die there. We're at this. Chiron in Aries is life or death. Chiron in Aries is like, you've got to, you're at the end. Are we going to give away our life force to the monster, to the machine? Or are we going to come back into our power? We don't have any other choices. We can't do it halfway anymore. And that's where so many people on this planet and in the US are like, I'd rather risk my life than live in tyranny. I'm not scared, because that is not life and that's not living, and I'm not going to take it. That's so powerful. It's so powerful, because you cannot wake up to truth without having a spiritual awakening. This is what for years I've been, it's like I've dedicated my life to try to support spiritual awakening and support those that are awakening and SuperNova Souls. And I've been, for a long time, it was like, how do the masses wake up? How does this happen? Like, are we going to have some big spiritual event, or what's going to happen? And it's like, what I came to is like, it's truth. So it's like, our awakening is all tied up in truth. So this brings me to the other thing that's so intense that's happening. We've been having, this. So Jupiter, Pluto, major change of the guard, right? New information coming in, back to the original plan. What are we doing here? Reset, timeline reset. That total solar eclipse on the Galactic Center, it's a galactic timeline reset. It's not just about Earth. We can't pretend that we're just floating around out there by ourselves right now anymore. We are part of a galactic family. And then Mars square Pluto, the breaking down of all the faults, the facing our fears, the overcoming the fear of our power, taking our power back, taking our life force back. Chiron, Sun, Mercury, breaking out of the mind control. That's how we take our power back. And then we have Uranus in exact conjunction to Black Moon Lilith. Uranus is the awakener. In Taurus, it's awakening. It's bringing a revolution to our relationship to the physical, to wealth, and to our worth, our self-worth. And so this is saying, okay, how do you take back your power? How do you get on your divine timeline? How do you come into this spiritual revolution? What is this about? And it says that the awakening is about revealing the darkest dark. It's like all coming into the light. That's our way, our path forward. Truth is light and love and God. They're all the same. And we've been force-fed a false fake spirituality, a false fake religion, a false fake leaders, false fake, saying, oh, this is what's good. This is what you should follow. This is what you should do. We're going to tell you, and it's a veneer of narcissism. And there's nothing to back it up. And Mars square Pluto is saying, gotta break down. So the veneer of the narcissistic energies in our life and the relationships are revealing themselves. And the darkness is revealing itself on the planet. We're at that point, right? The dam's about to break. We cannot go forward. And this Uranus and Black Moon Lilith stay close together through the 19th of January, the day before the sun moves into Aquarius in the U.S. inauguration. And so this is everything. It's like if we're going to have a spiritual awakening, if we're going to have a new wealth revolution and new worth revolution, we got to clean up those shadows. We can't hide the secrets anymore. And it's a great, powerful, the powerful energy I've talked about in the SuperNova Soul for you is a great redemption, of who you are as a soul, being advanced, coming in as a full initiate, as a purified soul. You got all caught in the story and you forgot who you were and you got all down in the, fell from grace or whatever. But you can't take away that level of soul work. You might have disconnected from it, but and SuperNova souls carry this level of shame. It's like for the collective, constantly, typically programmed low self-worth from traumatic past lives where you were attacked for your light, and being like, oh, I've done something wrong. I got to clean up my life. I got to do it better. I got to, this shame, the shame is completely misplaced. And it's like the SuperNova souls in their sensitivity and their love and their devotion, their dedication, they're carrying this energy of shame and blame. It's like the abuser, it's like the abused taking on the energy of the abuser. How people who are victims of abuse will blame themselves. So this is what's happened. We've been in an abusive relationship this whole Earth evolution. And now we're waking up to that truth and healing the psyche, healing the mind control, healing the trauma. And there's a great redemption coming when the darkest dark secrets come to light and the SuperNova souls go, oh, and I thought I was a bad person. I thought I was messed up. I didn't do it right. I got caught in this. I didn't listen this one time. I got off track. I forgot who I was, whatever, and it's like, oh, but I'm a freaking angel. And you are. That's exactly the point. You are an angel incarnate. And it's time to, claim back that light body and take back charge of your spiritual will, your life force, where you put your attention, become a co-creator. And again, it's like I can tell every time, a lot of times I'll go and I'll start to move towards advice, and I can feel the SuperNova Soul being like, yes, I just need to try harder. I just need to focus more. I need to just make sure. And that's an interesting shift we've had with this astrology just in the last couple of months. The SuperNova Soul being like, I don't know, I've done what I can do. I'm just going to try to be here and, breathe. And that's exactly all you need to do, And it's like, what's blocking you from receiving these new energies, the only thing really is this Black Moon Lilith, this like low self-worth and shame that's completely misplaced. It's like, you have to prove yourself to God again. And it's like, no, you came here fully knowing that you're a particle of God. And you forgot and you chose to forget. And the only reason you did all of it, the whole point of this whole thing, the plan is about going back to God, realizing that's who we are. And so it's a great revealing. It's a great revealing of the spiritual power that is inherent and latent within the SuperNova Soul. It's a revealing of the deepest darkness that's kept us in chains. The way they've kept us in chains, like I said, fear programming and dark, dark, dark stuff like psychological programs, right? And the pharmaceutical industry. It's all has to come out, of this control energy that's gone on multiple levels, and taking the innocence of humanity and twisting it into something really dark and distorted. And so it's not pretty to look at these things, but here we are. We got to get through it if we're going to have our age of enlightenment. And for you, SuperNova Soul, you're only going to be feeling better. You're only going to feel more redeemed. You're only like, what this is about for you is like, oh, this is who I am. Oh, this is what I'm here for. I've got some magic, some juju, and I'm ready to use that in the world again. This is your great redemption. And as the collective goes through they're having to face these things, it's your time to shine and to fly and disconnect and be like, okay, I'm here in the light, but you got to want it. And I'm not going to sell myself short for one moment. I'm not going to put my attention, my energy into your asleepness. You've done that long enough. That's like what we did in the Piscean age. So just know that this astrology is so epic, and coming back to the whole energy of this full moon is that it is in Cancer. And now we had a lot of intense eclipses in Cancer over the last couple of years when the North Node was in Cancer. And the nodes of the moon, they go back, they kind of wobble, go back as their exact degree, but they kind of move right forward. So it feels like the nodes have the effect of the nodes come a little later, and so we're kind of just now receiving the full completion and message, because the last eclipse, even though the nodes already had shifted into Gemini and Sagittarius, the last eclipse in June was a eclipse in Cancer. And so this eclipse, this new full moon, is the full moon after the total solar eclipse that was conjunct the Galactic Center on December 14th. So this is officially in the eclipse. This is the completion of the eclipse season. And so this full moon in Cancer is like, did you get the message of the North Node in Cancer? Because you're not getting anywhere until you come back into connection with the Mother. And a big part of how they've kept us so controlled and so disconnected is through disconnecting us from the Great Mother, from our planet, from nature, from the truth that we're held and cared for and loved here. And for the SuperNova Soul, you've definitely felt, deep wounds coming up around being rejected from the earth, being not cared for here as a spiritual being. Barely making it through lifetime after lifetime in this crazy stories we've been playing out. And that's the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. It's an opportunity to get out of the trap of the lower matrix of the repeating of the past patterns. So that's for us individually, and it's for the collective. So much happening. And again, it's like we're in it. We don't know exactly what's happening. Be present. Allow yourself to try to receive the joy of this season. So many people are feeling so isolated, so confused, so hopeless. And that's not what's happening. Sometimes it's like we just had this big light burst. And then, like I was talking about in the homeopathic remedy in the physical body, when you take a homeopathic remedy, first the remedy is going to stimulate your vital force. But typically you'll feel better in your energy, you'll feel better in your vibration, in your emotions, but then you'll have a physical expression, right? So this is this weird time. We've just received a remedy, and now we have to wait and see what happens. We're kind of like, okay. And we're still in it too. I mean, we just, so this is kind of a timeline. Jupiter and Saturn are less than 1 degree apart. Nothing's gonna make sense until we get through that, which is January 2nd. So through the new year, they stay 2 degrees apart until January 7th through 10th, So, and then 3 degrees apart which is kind of the orb that most astrologers use, the 6-degree orb. And so they will be feeling the influence of them directly until January 23rd. Of course, since these planets come together every 20 years, it's a full 20-year cycle that's starting. And so all of January, and especially up to that 20th, where the sun will move into Aquarius, because this January is like our personal planets are in Capricorn, Sun and Mercury. So now we're sorting out on a personal level what 2020 has been about. Very powerful times between Christmas and Epiphany, which is January 6th. Very interesting date with the election procedures in the US and the fact that we're feeling Saturn and Jupiter 1 degree apart up until then. But the 12 Holy Nights is a very powerful time. Rudolf Steiner had a meditation that he talked about where Christmas night is the first night of the 12 Holy Nights. And you can do this. It's kind of a cool exercise where you go, it's like, so the 12 Holy Nights represent the 12 months of the year. And so it's like a year review. And so on the first night, you go back to last January. Oh, what was that like? And then you do that before bed, kind of review what was last January like. And then you may dream and get insights about next January. So it's a good time to dream, to vision, to journal, to meditate, to review the year, right? And I know we're like, close the book on that one, but maybe this can help do that, right? Like, I want to make the most of 2020 because I'm not repeating this stuff, And so a really cool year in review. And then the next night would be February, and you'd look back at your last February of 2020 and then gain insights about your next February through your dreams and meditations. And so something to throw out there is a powerful meditation to help close and complete and set your course towards the new year, and we're all ready for that. The other thing that's happening on this full moon in Cancer, which is about us coming back into the mother, coming back into nurturing, coming back into allowing this world to care for us. And that's a big shift with the new earth energies that we're already moving into. We're already working there. We're already established there. There's such a different connection to the mother, like just such a profound difference where it's like, oh, I think I can feel the earth and the mother, and I can imagine what it feels like to feel connected and whole in this experience on earth. And then the 5D new Gaia energies are like so different. What we were shown in the activation or one of the sessions, it was like the earth mother holding you like a mantle, walking with you, embracing you through your whole experience, And such a deep, profound healing available in this full moon, of where everywhere as a soul and a human you have not felt nurtured and cared for. We got to rewrite that story, you know? So that's powerful energy, deep core wounds for the supernova soul of being rejected from the earth. So the other thing that's happening for this full moon is that Venus is in Sag and comes up on the south node. That happens on the 31st, but we'll start to feel that influence on the day of this full moon. So it's interesting because we've got that Sun, Mercury square Chiron. They're coming off at the full moon. And then the next one thing we're going to feel is Venus coming into a conjunction with the south node. So the feminine destiny of the feminine, right? So if we're going to come back into feeling loved and cared for in our reality, we got to heal the feminine. We got to heal where the feminine was disgraced and cut out of religion and cut out of society and cut into pieces, really, you know, and put her back together. And then it's this galactic destiny of the feminine, the high priestess activation. And because for New Year's, so for this full moon, Venus is on the south node. And then for New Year's, Venus will be on the galactic center. And it's really powerful because last year, this whole story kind of started with the eclipses that happened last year in the astrology of November, December 2019. And Venus and Jupiter together moved over over the galactic center. And that's kind of what started this whole thing, is like, you guys, there's a more exalted experience here. And are we going to do that, or are we going to submit, put our mask on and submit to the control and our demise as free sovereign beings, you know? And so the goddess and the galactic goddess, right? The like exalted high priestess of the, you know, so it's like we got to tap back in to this. And what that means is feeling worthy and allowing ourselves to receive and be nurtured here. So that means that Venus with conjunction the south node is going to be in exact square with Neptune for this full moon. So Venus is activating that T-square, mutable T-square with the nodes and Neptune in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces making it all so confusing. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's real. But sometimes when you're in that place, that's when you break through to a new reality, a new spiritual reality, you know? It's like you got to get disoriented in order to get reoriented. So Venus is saying, hey, it's a galactic timeline alignment. Remember that eclipse? Remember this Jupiter thing that happened with me and Jupiter last year? It's a galactic plan. It's a galactic. We got to change our way of thinking into a way wider perspective. And so we got to get disillusioned and confused, you know, in order to come into a more stable place of reality. Now, that Neptune square the nodes, we're going to feel that through the end of February. So that's a pretty interesting energy. All right, so powerful full moon and the saga continues. Like every video, I feel like, well, we could talk about this for hours and hours, but thanks for sticking with me, paying attention, being a part of the tribe. Our energy is so powerful and potent together when we're together. And so I deeply appreciate you being here, and blessings and gratitude for your holiday season. And if you would like to be a part of the full moon activation, that's going to happen 7 p.m. Mountain Time on that Tuesday the 29th. So leading right up to the time of the exact, just an hour and a half before the exact full moon. So we can really get into those energies and see what messages are in store for us. I feel a deep healing, a deep regeneration, a deep rejuvenation as we sort out and heal what's been pulled up for us in the trauma body in this 2020, and reset our vibration so that we're not taking that with us into the new year. And the astrology is going to make sure or not. So remember, everywhere you feel pulled back into the lower play is showing you your trigger, is showing you the contracts you still have, it's showing you where you're loyal to and this is where we're being asked, right? A commitment to be loyal to the highest high, to your highest high, to the truth, spiritual light, and then go from there. And so if anything's coming at you in life that's not vibrational, and this is the thing, we've been able to deny it. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. I have to see. And it's like we're getting clearer and clearer messages now of like, yeah, no, don't waste your time there. You're in control of your reality by choosing where you put your attention and your energy. And this is what this astrology is trying to show us. And being really, really clear. I'm seeing those situations. People having these situations where maybe last year, a couple of years ago, it'd be like confusion about, well, I don't know, can I trust this person? Or is this good for me or bad for me? Is this guidance or is this distraction? And this is this place we've been in of disconnection from our true, everything in the control matrix is about disconnecting us from our intuition. Because in our intuition is our memory of who we are. And our intuition is the power, our spiritual power of who we really are that's accessible to us. And the minute enough people come into that, it's absolutely game over for the lower matrix control energies. And that's exactly where we're at. Whether it happens tomorrow or a couple months, it's like we are at that place. So now it's, maybe some gratitude for that, right? Whoa, it's getting more and more clear. And you can still go down that road, but it doesn't feel right. You can't go as far as you could before. It's like, what? This doesn't feel quite right. And it's hard because we haven't had the new land enough to have another option. And this is how the control always happens. This is how the mind control, this is how the communist agenda happens. Is to say, oh, well, this is your only choice, right? This is your only news. So you have to believe what we tell you. Well, your only choice to go buy your food is to put a mask on and show your submission to the system. That's all you got. And the narcissist control energy relationships, sorry, that's your only choice. If you're going to ever have family and love and people in your life, otherwise you're going to be completely alone. So we haven't quite had that new land yet. And maybe it can't until we get through this intensity and into the new year, So it's really hard because it's like, well, I'm in purgatory then because I have nothing. I have no relationships. I don't have any meaning. I don't have anybody around me. It's like the only option, that's what they do. They take away all of your options. And so that you become dependent upon them. And that's going to be a big shift in this year to come and the years ahead, where we take back our power on multiple levels, being in control of our food supply, being in control of our body, how we want to heal, and how we want to stay safe in our body and what health is. And so we've got a radical revolution ahead of us, and that's exactly what Black Moon Lilith. I feel like Black Moon Lilith conjunct Uranus and Taurus is like this awakening of these darker truths of control. Big pharma, big banks, big media, big tech, making us feel like we're small. Oh, okay, yeah, We bought into this program for just far too long, and there's so many souls on the planet that are about to pop into this spiritual power. It's an exciting time to be alive, so don't forget that. And blessings, just leave space in your life to receive these spiritual blessings right now because they're flooding in amidst all of the intensity and the chaos and the lower matrix and the wrestling struggle, timeline struggle. And you just being here and breathing and making it through is doing your part. And so much gratitude. And so I look forward to seeing you soon, maybe on that full moon activation on the 29th or the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.